Oh, good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Excellent.
Hey, it's that time of the week where I have to actually wake up my brain and be challenged and engaged. Hey, it's the highlight of my week.
Excellent news. So, tonight we're going to talk about a topic that's been all over the Twitter manosphere here recently, and that is everyone's favorite single mommies. So,
Oh,
I know, Nick.
why are we talking about single mommies? I'm so effing tired of hearing about single mommies.
Well,
Does anything really good come out of messing with single mommies?
okay. So let's see. I'm married, so I don't have to put up with them at all. Steve
Nick,
is.
Nick, are you tired of all these single mommies pursuing you? You are the prey. They are
Yes.
the predator.
So, oh, why? Why do they all end up being single mommies? No.
Yeah, Nick is kind
Even
of
they're young,
the
like they could be like 24, 25, 26, and single mommies. I'm like, how the no, no, guys, just no.
Nick is our resident single mommy magnet, by the way. So this topic is a little bit in honor of Nick and his struggles in the dating world tonight. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this one. So we can just dive right into it. Uh, what is a single mom? That seems like a pretty straightforward question, but I don't know. I don't know, Nick and Steve. What do you think a single mom is?
There's two classic understandings of a single mom.
Okay.
One sinful, the other. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip up the camera. One sinful, the other's not. One's a wicked lifestyle. One's a result of sin. One's not.
Okay. Uh, I posted about this on Twitter. I posted about it a little differently. I said I can have sympathy for a single mom whose husband was killed in combat because
Widows.
widows, because she didn't choose to have that happen to her. She didn't choose to forcibly remove the kids from the father and take the cash and prizes, and she didn't choose it for her own benefit. It was done to her. Okay. Which but what that means is that any other single mom who did make that choice, and I'll call them what I called them in my post, it makes them contemptible gargoyles, just ugly human beings, inside and out.
Well, for the sake of this argument, the women who had kids and her husband died, she's a widow.
Yes.
Yeah, not a single mother. She's a widow.
Okay.
Single mothers are generally single by choice. Now, okay, since 80% of divorces, 70, 80%, whatever the number, are filed by women, yes, it's by choice. Are there a handful out there where the man filed? Yeah. Are, but half of them, it was for cause. She cheated, or it was that bad and somebody had to file and he filed. So, of all the single mothers, I'll maybe grant that 10% at the most might be somewhat reliable because past behavior predicts future behavior. If they filed
Leper doesn't change its
for
spots.
divorce, they're going to do it again with you. If they disrespected and had contempt for their past husband and talk bad about him, oh, he was a bad man and I just married the wrong man, he'll say the same thing about you. If she cheated on him and he filed, he'll cheat on you. So, okay, I'm being generous here. Maybe 10% of them might be somewhat worthwhile, but you have to evaluate that 10%. That just because they don't fall in the other 90% doesn't mean they're wife material.
Tacticus
Yeah.
had a good comment there. If you want to pull it up, he kind of gives some distinctions.
Independent mom versus baby mom versus sent away mom versus widow mom versus single virgin. Yeah. I mean, so my ex, I filed. So I am one of the percentage of men that filed, but I filed because
Yeah.
she cheated. I mean, playing tonsil hockey with a customer at where you work is cheating. I'm sorry, there's no other way to cut that.
Oh, yeah, but that was only kissing. Right. What does that lead to?
That's what you caught.
And
That's what you
Yeah,
caught.
that's what I caught. Yeah.
it's inevitable. That's enough. She was already going there. Did she go there yet? Well, who knows? But
Doesn't
she was
matter.
on that path. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Right. It does. What stage you caught it in, guys? It doesn't matter. If she's gotten to the point where she's playing tonsil hockey with another dude, she's already decided the relationship is over, and who files becomes a formality of record keeping. It doesn't matter to what the person is. Now, I'm sure that the women who were filed against will try and leverage the fact that they were filed against to say that it's not their fault.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nick, do you want to say
How many
something about
trips to
that?
jail do I get the met? How many trips to the jail does it take for the message to come across? How
Yeah.
many months does it take without seeing your kids being taken 1,000 miles away from you? Does it take with refusal to drop bold crap charges, torturing my ass, and then the church refusing to do anything when I appealed to the church? Oh, but then they blame me because I filed paperwork. I'm like, well, what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
Right. She moved 1,000 miles away. She has abandoned the marriage at this point, but somehow for some reason you're supposed to sit there and pine for her still. No.
Meanwhile, my life's getting fucked.
You
Fuck.
notice that we're past 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Nick. It's going to be one of those streams tonight, guys. So the reason we want to make a distinction between widows and single moms here is because we want to get ahead of the whatabouts, but what about this case? Yes, we understand that there are outliers, that there are exceptions, that there are women who something bad really did happen to them, and
Or they say it.
right. Well, I mean, like in the case
Sometimes
of
it does happen. Sometimes it does happen. But
right, well,
a lot
like in the
how
case
much
of
that is actually
well,
keep going.
that's why I brought up the case of, husband dies in combat. She
Right.
didn't choose any of that. I mean, you could say, well, she chose to marry a guy who could die in
Hey,
combat,
come on.
but yeah,
Come on.
if you're making that
Well-
choice, if you're making that argument, it's a dumb argument. I have no respect for it.
I think
Yeah.
what you're saying is, yeah, there are some women who are in the situation through no fault of their own.
Yes.
And Nick is saying, well, yeah, but you got to check that out. Let me tell you this.
Yes.
All women in this situation will claim to be in the situation through no fault of their own.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
95% of those women are full of shit.
Well, we did an episode.
Gargoyles.
Gargoyle, yes. I like calling them gargoyles because it brings to mind this just hideous. They're hideous people. We did an episode a couple weeks ago about the old RP. Now we were talking about Dalrock, but it got me thinking about other things that were frequently taught to men in the old RP that you just don't hear much anymore in the new RP. And that was one of those teachings, and I learned this from proto RP stuff. When a woman tells you something about herself, believe her. And when a woman chooses to divorce a man for cash and prizes to take his children away, she is telling you that she is the kind of woman who will divorce you for cash and prizes and take away your kids with her. And her kids from the other baby daddy who you might have formed an attachment to. Okay? She's telling you by her prior actions what she is capable of. If you hook up with that, and all you're really doing is deluding yourself into thinking that somehow you are going to be the one that finally tames the wild shrew. And Nick saw what I did there. Tames the wild
There's a term
shrew.
for that.
What is that, Nick? What is that? What term is that?
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Oh, yes. Another older RP term that still checks out.
Let me build on that, Plutarch. Listen to how she talks about her father. She
Yes.
says, "Oh, what a deadbeat, what an evil father, how unloving and whatnot, and what a terrible man he is." Okay, she will be saying the same damn thing about you in the future.
Yes, sir. Now, I want to make a note here to guys. Just because a woman doesn't have a terrible relationship with her father does not mean she won't do this to you. My ex had a
Happened to
great
me.
relationship with her father, and
Mine too.
Yeah, exactly. It's not enough. These are just things that, like, if she says this about herself, you absolutely must take it for what she is saying right then and there. If she starts bad mouthing her father, she's for recreational use only. End of discussion. I won't talk to you again in any serious capacity.
But
These
the
are
recreational
cuts.
use we're going to talk about is problematic as well.
Right.
But we'll get to
But
that later.
yeah, that's for later. I just my point being is that the moment a woman starts bad mouthing an ex or her father, she's done. You don't. She gets nothing from you of any value. Okay, that's and what that means is then, of course, is that because a single mom has already told you by her actions with the prior baby daddy who she is, with all single moms, they are always only ever for recreational use. You do not marry a single mom. You're signing up for a trip to the divorce court. You're signing up for a trip to the child custody courts. That's what you're doing. And people will say, "Oh, but I know this family and they've made it." Well, A, they've only made it this far, and B, again, go back to the outliers problem. You aren't
We're going
the
to come
odds aren't in
back.
your favor.
We're going to come back to this for recreational use. So I'm not going to touch on that now. But when Plutarch says, when a woman tells you who she is, believe her. Now, guys, don't expect her to spell it out.
Yes.
It's going to be indirect. Women rarely make a direct statement. They're going to make, I don't know, parallel, oblique statements. Oh, I've never been with a guy for more than 5 years. It always ends before then. Okay. You just told you. You didn't say she's leaving you, but you
Your
just
eyes
told
should
you.
open wide. You're like, holy shit.
Okay. And so she's going to make just passing comments, because women guard the information, but it all leaks out around the edges. Because when she's emotional, she's got no brain processing between her mouth and her emotions. And so there will be little tells that leak out. Like, even, I can't come up with an example about you might even leak some ancillary information about how she cheated on her boyfriend. She's not going to say it directly, but if you can read between the lines, you can probably figure it out. And if you're thinking it and say, yeah, that might be true, you're better off believing it's true, because you will never, ever get confirmation. And if you directly ask her, she will lie. Oh, man. So convincingly, and probably cry and probably attack you for your lack of faith and thinking the worst, and she'll turn
The
it
lack
on
of
you.
empathy
And
and
if she
toxic
does,
masculinity.
that is confirmation that she's lying through her teeth. Absolutely. The more upset she gets about a direct question, the more it's true. And Shakespeare was it Shakespeare? Methinks thou dost protest too much.
That was Shakespeare. It's interesting you bring up this idea of they lie when they are confronted with the truth. Frequently, Elena she'll get mad at me for pointing out some, I don't know, maybe not a lie, but maybe she's stretching the truth a little bit about something we're talking. Something happened, and then she starts crying, and then I just look at her and I go, "Oh, so I'm right." No, she hates that. She hates that. Because the crying, and this gets to something that I do want to talk about. The crying is an attempt to short circuit your rational brain and elicit a protect response. Oh, the woman is
Learn
crying.
this crap early. They learn this early as children with their fathers.
Oh yeah, and by early we mean like 2, 3 years old.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I
it's
have 2 daughters. I get it. Yep.
it's burned into their core programming at a very young age that this works. They don't realize they're doing it. They don't know. And so usually when I point this out to Elena, she actually usually cracks a smile and starts laughing a little bit, because and people are, how dare you tell a woman, who's crying that you were right. You're totally dismissive. Guys, it's the reaction after I do it is everything I need to know. She knew, once I got her brain out of the emotion and I short circuited it, she knew immediately that I understood exactly what was going on. The point of this is to say that it's exactly what Steve said. They do not communicate directly like men do. They communicate obliquely. She's not going to tell you what she's going to do. She will tell you stories about here's a fan favorite. Oh, my last boyfriend, he was just so mean. They no well, Nick, they don't always use the A word, because they know
I didn't
that.
even say it. I just mouthed it, and you knew what I was going to say.
Yeah, but they just say, "Oh, he was so mean," or he didn't care about me. He didn't right. And so, but they'll say this, but there's never any evidence presented as to what he actually did or did not do. They never actually give you any, now somebody says, "Oh, my," and then some will say, "Oh, my boyfriend hit me." Okay. The next question, guys, when you're vetting this woman is, what were you doing that caused him to do that? They don't have an answer for that, because he hit me is often enough to get the average guy to shut down and go emotional.
Yeah, just ask her, well, how many times did you hit him before he hit you?
Oh, yeah. That's another great question to ask.
Yeah, because it's probably he hit him multiple times. He just enraged him to the point where he couldn't control it and he lashed out. Now, most men have pretty good restraint.
Yep.
And so they don't just abuse women. No, but when provoked and taunted, oh, the taunting can be insane. And
The gaslighting.
And she will keep poking at that until you just explode. And she wants that to happen.
Yeah,
She's
does.
really not afraid of you. Yeah, so you hit her. Okay. He wanted that to happen, and now she has ammunition against him. See, he's a scary, dangerous man.
Well,
He
what
really
happened
wasn't
with me?
afraid. He provoked you.
What happened with me is I never did that. But she made stories up. But then there's self-confessions on the police report that no, actually, I had a history of, you know, beating him, but I don't do that anymore. Meanwhile, she had another self-confession with like another former police officer where she fled to, one of my friends, and he wrote an affidavit for me for court. He's like, yeah, when he pressed her, she was trying to having excuses to try to leave me because of abuse. And then when he pressed her what this abuse was, well, come to find out, she confessed to him that, oh, she was hitting me, and then sometimes I had to restrain her, which is not a crime. So they can come up with anything for ammunition.
Well, my first wife was beating the crap out of me. Had scratches. Eventually, she was arrested for assault. But she claims she was afraid of me because while my arms were down at my side, my hands were balled up like fists.
Well, what are you supposed to do when they're hitting you? I mean, that's just like instinctual reaction.
There's a reason why the right to self-defense is codified in the Constitution as a natural right, and it's a right that you have that the government cannot abridge. It is not a right that the government gives you. So in many ways, we can talk about the push to take away the right to self-defense as part. There's a reason why leftists are in favor of both feminine supremacy and taking away the right to self-defense. This is it. The law recognizes that you have the right to defend yourself and the ability to do so, and as a human, pushed far enough, you will defend yourself. Okay, so I'm not going to drag us down into a legal thing about what the right to self-defense is. The point here is that what these women are doing and then how they're presenting it to you after the fact are often very different things, because she needs to put her story and herself in the best possible light for you. So, but she has to do it in a way that gets you to stop thinking and start emoting over her sob story.
Victim. Oh, there's one. He says he's not in the Mana Swamp anymore, but it's a good book. He has a whole chapter on single mommies. And that's one of the things he talks about. I'll give a quote here. He mentions 5 things. He said 5 things to watch out for in single moms: cuckoldry, responsibility without authority, the victim mindset, financial issues, and reprioritizations. What we're talking about right here is the victim mindset.
Yes.